morning, everyone. Good morning. President Kennedy once said, "Mankind must put an end to war before war puts an end to mankind." On May 3rd, 1915, Lieutenant Colonel John McCrae of the Canadian Army wrote a poem after witnessing one of the largest and most devastating battles of the First World War. The poem is one that you all know. It will be read in a short time by Jimmy Yusevich and Kieran Cochran. Sorry if I mispronounce your names. The poem commemorates Canadian troops, but the words about the devastation on the fields of France ring so true that we read them even today. The U.S. didn't enter the First World War until April of 1917, and troops didn't begin to arrive in Europe until later in the summer. But we entered one of the deadliest conflicts in history with young men like Ralph Hall from Beverly, who unfortunately was one of the 116,000 Americans who was not going to come home. On the battlefields of the First World War, American soldiers would be exposed to the kind of factory-like warfare that was causing so many problems on the home front. Trench warfare, machine guns, new tanks, and chemical attacks showed just how deadly this modern warfare could be. And we've seen today just how deadly modern warfare has turned into. Now, the reason that the United States was in this war is a very complicated question. First, the German Foreign Ministry sent a telegram, known as the Zimmermann Telegram, to Mexico, saying that if they helped them against the British, the Germans would help the Mexicans invade Texas. Not a great move in retrospect. Now, another major reason we entered the war was because German U-boats were attacking American cargo ships who were trying to feed and supply England. Now, England had declared war on Germany after the Germans had attacked Belgium to get to France. The French had declared war on Germany after the Germans declared war on Russia. The Russians had declared war on Austria-Hungary after Austria-Hungary declared war on Serbia after someone from Serbia assassinated a Duke of Austria. One tragedy, one single event in Serbia ended up into a conflict that cost the lives of more than 8.5 million soldiers across the world. The First World War has lost every remaining person who fought in it, so there's nobody left to sit around the dinner table at night and tell us what it was like to stand on the fields of France. The thing that we owe these people the most is to learn the lessons that their generation had to endure so brutally. A lack of effective diplomacy ended in the death of 116 American fathers, brothers, and friends. But after the war, as history has shown, we didn't learn from our mistakes either. Our failure in diplomacy in Western Europe led to the rise of Nazi Germany, which meant that another 417,000 Americans would not come home. If we cannot learn from the lessons of the past, we are condemning more to die so that we can learn them again. So let us not forget the great sacrifice that was made by all of the servicemen and women during the Great War. Let us remember that when we are not strong and when our diplomacy is not strong, American lives are on the line. Remembering those who gave their lives is the best way to make sure conflict never again engulfs the world. Though President Woodrow Wilson tried very hard to keep us out of the Great War, the pressure he was being put under eventually committed him to that path. Through the sacrifice of ordinary Americans, who unfortunately, as we remember today, would not have the chance to live out their lives, our nation was able to defeat a military power who had covered the world in warfare. War is sometimes justified, but far too many Americans have had to be called upon to make that sacrifice that we all remember. Just as it is the duty of the military to fight, it is the duty of us at home to make sure what they are fighting for is worth the tremendous cost. Electing leaders who are just and who are wise is the best way for us to make sure that we are putting our soldiers' lives on the line for the best possible cause. Their sacrifice, should it be called upon, must be absolutely necessary. And that's why I'm so glad many of you are here on such a rainy day when I'm sure you'd rather be sitting next to your fireplace with a good book, to pay some small tribute to those who have died so that our nation might be free. And so we remember the Americans who have fallen, from Europe to the Pacific Islands and back again, trying in our own way to thank those who have given everything for this country, in the hope that we never ask our brothers, sisters, fathers, mothers, friends, and fellow Americans to pay this price again. So for remembering those who have fallen, I want to thank you. I ask that God bless you, and that God bless the United States of America.